Welcome to January 22nd, Friday Focus 2016. We're going to talk about some things that kind of build off last week's discussion with the lean manufacturing and putting lean operations in our office. But I'm going to talk more about something I think that's very important, understanding employee engagement. So we're talking today about engagement. Now you might think about engagement as something you do before you get married. And that's an engagement. You get engaged, that means you're agreeing, you're committed to getting married and spending the rest of your life with somebody, hopefully the rest of your life. And engagement is where you decide you're going to do something. You don't just decide it or thinking about it, but you actually make a commitment and do it. You carry it out. You figure out the steps you need, the work effort you have to put into it, and make it occur. You know, we have a finite amount of time in our life. And you come here to work and you're working 8 or 12 hours, and either you can be really engaged and committed and productive, or you can kind of, languish and kind of burn a day. And the person that languishes and burns a day is actually kind of committing personal suicide because they're taking one thing they have, which is their time. Okay? That's something we all have equally. You don't have the same amount of money or the same amount of stress, the same amount of jobs, the same amount of things at home. We've all got the same amount of time. And if you waste your time, you're committing personal suicide by not making it valuable to improve your life. If you're at home and you have free time and you waste it, then you've just wasted time, whereas if you meditate or read or spend time with your families, you've actually done something to better yourself. And here the same thing goes at work. So how does engagement tie into what we talked about before with becoming a more lean and more effective organization? Well, I'm going to hold everybody accountable for having some form of engagement. I think a lot of times people are waiting for me or their manager to make things happen for them, but in reality, we got a lot of people working here, and I want to harness the collective genius of our staff to make us more effective. A lot of things I put forward for this year in order to grow, we added a couple more locations, we hired a bunch of people, we added dermatology, we added the stem cells, we added many new services, and now it's time to grow from those. Those were investments, and now I want these things to grow. We added new machinery, we bought another 15 ultrasounds, so there's a lot of things we did in investment, and now I want that to turn into production. Now we talked about lean, about being lean, which is about kind of avoiding waste and making things happen. But how can we take that a step forward? We're going to start holding everybody accountable for personally having 3 things. Things to do, the things that you're planning to do, might be on a back burner, things that you're doing, so a project that you're working on to make the business more effective, and things that are done. So when I decide to do something, I've got to kind of set some kind of a time frame for it, plan out who I'm going to need to help me do it, get engaged, learn about it, make the effort to make it happen, and then eventually it's done. A lot of times we get stuck right here in the doing, or worse yet, we get stuck back here in the things to do. Got a big list of things you're going to do. You saw during our last year's, goal-oriented event, I wrote them down, things I was going to do. So I want you to start writing them down. It's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to do the to-do, doing, and done. So what I'd like you to do is everybody in the office, you can do it together or apart, but to collectively figure out what jobs you're going to do to make our workflow more effective. When you're assembling groups, we get together and huddle in the morning, there's 20 people there, or maybe at other offices too. There's a problem with communication to any great degree when you have big groups. So let's say you have 2 people, and they're talking to each other and communicating. They want to do a project. Person A and person B want to do a project. They want to do an open house, so they want to make the parking lot look neater. They want to make the hallways not look so messy. I walked down the hallway, I couldn't believe how dirty it was. Not dirty, but just messy. Well, these people can communicate very easily because there's 2 of them. One person can talk, the other person can listen, this person can respond back to this person. But now when we have many people working on a project, you've got this person's got to talk to this person, who's got to talk to this person, who's got to talk to this person, right? Got this person talking to this person talking to this person here, 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 here. You get the picture? So your group needs to be about 4 or 5 people. If you get 10 people, you're going to have one person doing all the talking and other people that are not paying attention. So when we're looking at projects, I want you to get together groups of about 4 people. They might even not be your own department, and work on a to-do list, okay? And it might be just one thing. And then figure out how you're going to do it. And then eventually get it done. When you're doing your to-do list, I want you to pick things that you can do in 1 to 4 weeks with 1 to, let's say, 4 or 5 people that has a positive impact on our business. Now, if it turns out it didn't work out, that's okay, you tried. It's okay to do something that didn't really help us. Let me give you an example, okay? Something that has vexed me for a long time. And you can imagine things you've done in your life over and over and over again, even though you knew you could do something to make it better if you just put a little effort into it. It always amazed me that we actually pay somebody to audit the charts. So we have one person checking people out. We have another person make sure she checked them out properly. This makes no sense. I mean, think about in your life if you had to have somebody going behind you and make sure you clean your house properly. It's ridiculous. So I would imagine I would get somebody from the clinical side on cosmetic, maybe somebody in vein, maybe somebody at front desk. Okay? Then you'd have 3 people. And these people could all talk to each other, right? Not a lot of communication going on. And you might say, okay, we're gonna figure out how to make it so we're no longer auditing charts. We might do spot audits. We're trying to figure out how to do it right in the first place. Well, I'll tell you what, if you take the front desk person and the cosmetic person, she could probably communicate why she's making so many errors. It might be that she doesn't know what the person in cosmetic did, and they gotta kind of dig through the chart. Well, then you as a cosmetic person can decide how we can document better on the charts. I sometimes look at the chart and I can't figure out, what was done. So I can't imagine being in a totally different part of the office and having a chart dropped in my lap and a patient in front of me and trying to figure out what they owe us or when they need to reschedule. So that's something that 3 people really could come up with a solution. And this it'll take 1 to 4 weeks. How do we get it so that we stop auditing? Maybe you can't stop auditing in 4 weeks, but maybe we can get our error rate down to 1% in 4 weeks or 2% in 4 weeks. Right now, it's very high. That's why we have to audit the charts. But without creating a team to make it happen, it will not happen. Okay, it will not happen. If you're waiting for me to fix it, and my follow through is like a 2, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to look at the charts or try to audit. I certainly could not audit. That would be totally against my instincts. So maybe you don't find people with 2 of follow throughs to figure out how not to audit the charts. Maybe somebody's a quick start to come up with ideas. Maybe somebody's a fact finder, maybe a follow through person. Look at your Colbys, but it's got to be a person in our office. It's not going to be management. If you drop this on Melissa's map or on the manager's lap, it's just like another pile of crap you're laying on them, okay? And if she could fix it, it'd already been fixed, okay? So this is something that in our office, we can look at, attack, and correct. We could look at things like, well, let's look at the Botox rebook rate. So Amber came to me and said, I'm going to school for healthcare administration, and I want to have more responsibilities. I said, well, Mary and I have been talking about having some kind of a coupon for the Botox patients so we get them to come back more often. We know about 60% of our Botox patients come in once a year, and only about 10% of them come in 3 times a year. We'd like to get everybody coming in 2 or 3 times a year because they'll be happier. They'll have less wrinkles, which would be good for our community, having less wrinkly women. That'd be good. And it'll be good for us, okay? So between her and Mary and me, we came up with a system to have coupons in the book. Now, she involved other people, okay? But the decision was kind of a small group of people. If I went to the front desk meeting with 20 people there and I carried out what I'm going to do, but I didn't assign anybody to it, this would never happen, okay? But Amber was able to decide, I want to take some responsibility and do something to grow myself. She was able to carry it out. We don't know the results of it yet, but that's okay, right? It'll probably be positive. Certainly we were rebooking more patients. She told me back last year on December 9th, we rebooked 0%, and the next year in December 9th, we booked 67%. So that's good. So that was something that's kind of done. Okay, and that was a project that took her less than 4 weeks. She had less than 5 or 10 people involved. She certainly had to involve other people to roll it out, but the decision making took 2 or 3 people. So I want you to look in your own job, what's kind of something that's frustrating? Like I would imagine no-show rate, that's a good thing to fix. Conversion rate, good thing to fix. Disorganization of our lasers, not knowing where they're at, that would be a good thing to fix. Dirty rooms, that would be a good thing to fix. Junk in the hallway. That'd be a good thing to fix. And it's not just clean the hallway up, it'd be coming with a system that the hallway stays clean. Okay? Maybe running past 8 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. That'd be a good thing to fix. Figure out, what we can do to make that not happen. Look at things in our business that could be made more efficient. Use our time better and make small groups and have a time frame of 1 to 4 weeks. You can go over or under a little bit, but 1 to 4 weeks. Have a small group of people, maybe not necessarily your friends at work, but people that you can work with, and come up with a project. And during the morning huddles, I'm going to ask you, what's on your to-do list? What are you doing? And I'm going to expect people to have an answer, okay? Because we want to have engaged employees, okay? So my objective is very clearly growing the business, and I want to grow our people. But then it takes a little effort. And I want to work with people who are engaged, okay? And I know the employees that are engaged. I can identify them because they do good at every aspect of their job. And if you're kind of struggling somewhere, you got to ask yourself, are you committed? Are you engaged? If you're not, maybe this is not the place for you. Okay, because we're going to have engaged women working here, men and women working here. But one way to start engagement is start making some action. Don't expect it to come rolling to you or for your manager to lay it out for you. Some of the offices that we've had have basically very little oversight. We don't have like a supervisor. We have like more or less a lead technician or a lead PA, and they can run really effective. We don't need a CEO and a vice CEO and a vice president, assistant vice president like a major manufacturing company does. We need people that are engaged. We need you to carry out what our mission is, which is to grow ourselves, grow our business, and have better jobs and lives for ourselves, and that requires individual employee engagement. So by next week, you can start thinking about this now. I'm going to start asking people what is on your to-do list. What are you doing? And a few weeks after that, like what's done, okay? And you have autonomy to figure out what jobs you need to work on. You don't need to ask permission from your manager to try to fix a problem. Maybe you need to ask permission from your manager to help you roll it out if you need some help. But in general, most of these things, like figuring out how to clean the hallway, you don't need management involved with that. How about like reducing audit errors? That's not a management decision. If you say we need to buy 6 new cars, that's probably something that you're not to have management involved with. But cleaning up your workspace, having reduced expired inventory, increasing product sales, reducing no-show rate, increasing rebooking rates, not getting out of work by 8 o'clock at night. These are all things that do not involve you telling me or Teresa or Lisa or Tracy or one of your managers to get done. These things you can do on your own. So to-do list, make a to-do list of things you want to do. You could do that, make a list of 4 or 5 things you want to work on over the next few months, and then pick one you're going to work on. Don't pick 5, because your cognitive ability does not allow you to work on 5 projects in addition to doing your job. And then work towards getting it done within 1 to 4 weeks with some kind of results. Results weren't that good, pick the next thing on your to-do list and do it. So that's Friday Focus. Thank you very much.